Good morning, members. This is the next question, next case study in the series of the case studies that we are covering for those are relevant for the registered valuer exam as per the new syllabus. So this is the 11th case study. You can go through the previous 10 case studies through the links on this particular channel. Now let's start this case study without wasting any time. This case study is also very important because you will definitely get one or two questions based or similar to the points those are covered in this particular case study. This is proper practical one. So there is a person who is considering whether to purchase a particular security or not, and for that purpose he is deciding the overvaluation or undervaluation of the securities. So whenever we want to calculate the price of the share or theoretical price of the share or intrinsic value of the share, what we considered under dividend discount model is that whatever the dividend this company or this investor who is going to invest in this particular entity is going to get, the present value up to perpetual period through growth rate or with growth rate or without growth rate. So if you get the present value of all the benefits, future benefits, that is the value according to you that should be assigned to this particular share. Now, for example, if you assign a value or theoretical value you calculate for a share is 10 rupees, but actually this share is trading in the market at 8 rupees. So according to you, the worth of the share is 10 rupees, but actually practically you are going to get this for 8 rupees. So technically you can say that this is undervalued and we are going to purchase it. And vice versa, if this is selling at 12 rupees, then you are not going to purchase, or if you are having a particular share, then you can definitely sell the share off. So let's start this question. So this is the information regarding Abhishek in considering whether a dividend discount model would be appropriate for valuing Tata Foods. He has compiled the information. This is of EPS and DPS of the past 5 years. For my calculation purpose, the past year data is not relevant for me, but future year data is relevant for me, that what an investor is going to get if he purchases. The quarterly dividend paid by the company has been added to arrive at the annual dividend. Abhishek has also computed the dividend payout ratio for each year, that is DPS upon EPS, for the growth rates of EPS and DPS. So what is the most recent year? 2008. What was the EPS at that point of time? 2.12, and dividend per share was 0.59. So this will be considered as year 0 for my calculation. This is 2008. So here the dividend is 0.59. The Abhishek notes that the EPS of the company has been increasing at an average rate of 4.48% per year. The dividend payout ratio has remained fairly stable, and dividends have increased at an average rate of 5.30%. So dividend growth rate is 5.30%. In view of the history of dividends payment in the company, this is Abhishek concludes that dividend is appropriate to value the dividend discount model is appropriate to value the equity of Tata Foods. Further, he expects the moderate growth rate for the company to persist and decide to use the Gordon's growth model. Gordon's growth model means the dividend at the end of year 1 divided by K minus G. The Abhishek uses the CAPM. Now total information is given. The CAPM required rate of return, that is investors expected rate of return, or the discounted specifically given as 11.15% after all the calculations. Using the past growth rate of 5.30% as her estimate for the future growth in dividends. So future growth rate in dividend is expected as 0.53. Abhishek computes the value of Tata Food stock. He shows her analysis to Amit, his colleague at the pension fund who specializes in the frozen food industry. Amit concurs that the valuation approach used by Abhishek but disagrees with the future growth rate he used. So that analyst is saying that valuation is done correctly, but the growth rate is not fine. So Amit believes that the current stock's price of 8.42 is the fair value of the stock. So at present, what is the market price? 8.42. And he is saying that the growth rate should be that much, that this should be equal to the fair price or the intrinsic value. So the first question in this case asked, what is the following, which of the following is closer to Abhishek estimate of stock value? That will be, if here is 0.59, so 0.59 plus 5.30, that is growth rate percent, divided by K is your 0.1115 minus G is 0.053. So the value you will get as this 10.62. This is the correct answer given for this particular problem. So here, if we see the next question, what is the stock's justified trailing PE ratio? PE ratio means price to earning. Price to earning means MPS upon EPS. So MPS as we calculated is 10.62. The earning per share of this year 2008 was 2.12. So trailing PE ratio will be 5.01. This will be 5.01 approximately. Hopefully the answer is correct. The correct answer is 5.01 times. Third is Abhishek considers a security trading within a band of plus minus 10% of his estimate of intrinsic value to be within the fair value range. By that criteria, stock of Tata Food is, he basically purchases, as he has calculated the value of 10.62. So he will purchase this if this is plus 10% or between minus 10%. Then only he is going to purchase it. So the current actual market price is 8.42. So what will be the plus 10% and minus 10% in this case? It will be equal to the amount that is there. So it will be 11.68 upside or 9.56. So he will be ready to purchase the share between 9.56 to 11.68. According to him, this is the value of the share. But actually, he is going to get this share in the market at 8.42. So whether this particular price is or the security is undervalued or overvalued in the market, the answer is undervalued. This security is undervalued as per our expectations. So this is the answer of your third part, that is this security is undervalued. Now moving ahead, the beta of Tata Foods is 1.10 used by Abhishek in computing the required rate of return was based on monthly returns of the past 10 years. If Abhishek uses the daily returns for the 5 years, the beta would be 1.25. If the beta is 1.25 used, what would be Abhishek's estimate of the value of the stock for Tata Foods? Obviously, the beta will increase, the required rate of return will increase. If the required rate of return will increase, then the price of the share will definitely going to fall. But how much, that we have to calculate. So if the beta is 1.25 in place of 1.10 previously used, so here you have to use 1.25. So the required rate of return in that situation will be, required rate of return in that case will be 6.5%, 6.5 plus 1.25 plus 4, 11.75. So if you use the same formula again, but using the 11.75 as discount rate, then the value of the share that you get will be not 1.75 but 1.25 into 6.5 plus 4, 12.125 or 12.13. So if you use the same formula, 0.59 plus growth rate divided by KE minus G, but KE is 12.13, then the final answer or price of the share in that case would be 9.10. So this is the correct answer. Then moving ahead, Amit has suggested that the market price of Tata Food stock is its fair value. So whatever the market price is the fair value as per the second analyst, that is Amit. So what is the implied growth rate of dividends given that stock market price? Use the required rate of equity based on the beta of 1.10. So based on 1.10, the required return of equity was 11.15. So he is asking if the fair value or intrinsic value is 8.42, that is equal to the market price, then how much is the implied growth rate? So in that situation, I have to interpolate the growth rate as 0.59 into 1 plus G divided by 0.1115 minus X, or sorry, simply you can write G. So if you will solve this equation, then you will get the growth rate as 3.87% mathematically. Then the last part is if Amit is correct that the current price of Tata Food stock is its fair value, what is the expected capital gain yield on the stock? So whatever will be the growth rate, that will be equal to the capital gain yield, because no information of dividend is clearly given. It is only giving you the information that this rate, on the rate of 3.87, if the dividend is going to increase, then the price appreciation will also be in the same proportion. If you want to prove this, then what you have to do, you have to calculate the price of the share over here, and then you have to estimate the price of the share over here. So if then difference percentage can also be calculated, that will be exactly 3.87%. If you want to see the answer for this, then this is the explanation, that at present the actual price is 8.42. so if I want to calculate the price over here, then the terminal value or the Gordon model formula I have to apply at the end of year 2. And what will be the dividend at the end of year 2? 2 years after 2 years growth rate, that will be 0.59 plus 1 year growth rate plus second year growth rate divided by K minus G. So here the price will be 8.4738, and if you calculate the growth in this, then 8.4738 minus 8.42 divided by 8.42, that would be exactly 3.87%. So this was all about this particular question. Please go through this practical question. Similar to this or based on these points, any other questions can be there. But whenever you have to apply the dividend discount model, simply you have to concentrate on the future dividends that this person is going to, that our investor is going to receive against this particular share, and then discount it. Do at the end, I just want to say, do subscribe this particular channel so that you will get all the updates of the upcoming chapters along with the case studies and the most recent question videos. Those are generally asked in the exams started after 1st of June in the areas where the lockdown is over. So I'm going to share the videos comprising of those important repetitive questions. Those are there in the exams. So please subscribe this channel so that you will get the exact information on a real-time basis.